Hard in. Hey everyone, welcome to Gotham City. Tonight we're back. We took a week off. Everyone was busy. I was out of town. People had deadlines. Kevin has family.
I
It's
was
been
available, but I do have a family. Sorry.
yeah. But he still needed to, but it's okay. So we just took a week off. We needed it. I'm glad we did. Because you know what? We came back to absolute chaos. With X-Men, we got some Superman news. We'll get into that first. But first off, let's say hi to everybody who's here and do our introductions. I'm Doell. I'm back. Man, that's why we're late. It's actually my fault. I was so rested from vacation that I made everyone else late because I had to humble brag about my vacation. And Alice is here as well. Alice, how are things?
Good. Good as always. I do comics and I do art and I work in effects with Ryan. Hi.
Yeah. Hi. We'll do
Really,
your
I'm also off. I don't know what that was, but clearly the few weeks that we've all been gone has done weird things.
Yeah, that's everyone's chemistry is off. We'll work it back into there. Kevin from Toying Around, he's back with us again this week to talk X-Men. Dude, tell us about last week on Toying Around with the Enablers, as well as just how are things going?
Oh, things got really stupid. It was episode 200. Thank you for everyone if you tuned in or saw some clips or just watched any of the episodes along the way. But I got into a 70-80% cosplay of Professor Xavier. The rest of the enablers dressed up too, most of them, and it was just it was a good time. Plasti made a tribute video with everyone giving me some shout outs, and it was a lot of fun, and we opened some toys, and it was great. But X-Men is the theme. That's why we all dressed up, and the show has been crazy. So that's why we're here, right?
That's why dude, I have to say, Ryan Ting from the Marvel Legends team,
yep,
his Gambit costume, perfect.
Yeah. He even let his hair grow out a little so that he could get the little wave on the top too.
Yeah, I was like, what? Is it the outfit? It just automatically makes everybody more attractive. Like all of a sudden I was like, wow, Ryan Ting's really handsome in this costume.
What about my bald cap?
Dude, you look great.
Did that work?
Just thinking about the dent on the top of it.
Yeah, I know. Because when I slick the hair back, it kind of parts in the middle when you press it down, and so it needed like a little censoring in the top middle part. Yeah,
that's awesome. And Alex, welcome back as well. You had some big news drop while we were all away. Well, while I was away, I was in Calgary doing Calgary things. Yeah, and then sure enough, all of a sudden, I'm getting all these alerts.
There's something strange in the neighborhood.
Yeah, like what? So now I guess it's officially announced. Real Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
from Mondo.
We're doing
Congratulations on that, because that was all you. I've told everyone over at Toy Anxiety and at YHS that was all me. I said I told Alex to do those, and whatever the first wave is, I decided it. So if you don't like the first wave, you only have me to thank. So that way you're off the hook, Alex. And if it's good, it was you. That's right. You did. If everyone loves the first wave, hey man, it was all Alex. It was
guys. I have been watching so much Real Ghostbusters lately. It's awesome. But
yeah. Wait till you get to third season. You might regret it. Well,
that Dave Coulier.
Yeah, that Janine. Right. Even hang on. Gatey's toys, Andrew's Gatey's toys. Janine, are we right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Janine for sure. Definitely.
Right.
If you want any version, original version, obviously, but any version, it's all good.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, you know what? We're all very excited for us, like Ghostbusters fans who just never got figures of the cartoon. We're not going to get super into Ghostbusters here. That's for another channel. Go check out Go check out Geeked Out Life. They don't shut up about Ghostbusters. So you know what? They can they could talk about it and break it down there. We'll get you on one of those shows, Alex, when it gets closer to and the bigger announcements come. And I think Toy Anxiety even had Attack Peter on.
Yeah.
At like that day from
he phoned in.
He phoned in. How freaking cool is that? Actually, before I even say hi to the chat, I gotta check this out.
Ooh, wow.
Whoa.
Holy.
And signed.
This was Fan Expo, right?
This was Fan Expo Calgary. Half the voice cast was either at Calgary and the other half was at C2E2.
Yeah,
right? Larry Houston
God.
as well.
Hey.
That's
right.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, I saw that print in Toronto. It was a close second.
It was I just thought I remember which one you got, and I was like, well, I'm gonna get the other one. But I needed to get the one with Wolverine all over it.
Yeah.
But man, they did an X-Men panel at in Calgary, and it was awesome. Like it's just like everyone was into it. The voice of Beast, gosh, why can't I remember anyone's name?
George Buza.
Do you know what I didn't realize is that George is also the voice of Logray, Logray on the old Ewoks cartoon.
Oh wow. He was also in that Beastmaster show.
Yes.
You guys see that? That's a live action show.
He's all over. I was just like, man, this is great. But but yes, hang on. Let me digest here a second. When so they were doing they're doing the Q&As at the end, and this Magneto cosplayer, she comes up and she's like, of all the looks that the X-Men have, which ones are all your favorites? Oh, George, you don't have to answer this. And George kind of was like, oh, I like the lab coat.
Yeah.
And it was so good.
What about the Howard the Duck shirt? Beast has some serious looks.
Yeah, that's right. So it was just a lot of fun. Everyone was really getting it. Like everyone in the crowd was like into it. The place, the panel was packed. It was like standing room only. Like they actually had to cut people off at the door and be like, "Yeah, we're full. You can't get back in."
It's incredible.
Like so, it made me super stoked to see that.
Yeah.
It was big, man. Like here's another thing I noticed too. And yes, chat, we'll get to you in one hot second. I'll just finish this thought. One thing I noticed at both Calgary Expo and at Frank & Sons, Toy Biz X-Men, you could tell they're putting new stickers over top of the old sticker.
Oh no.
They went from, you could see they were going from $5 at the cons to 25.
25.
Makes
sense.
It's like what happened with Motu with the Netflix show. Suddenly all those vintage toys, the value went through the roof.
Right? And I was wondering too if that's if that's happening all across, but then all of a sudden, once I got to Frank & Sons, you started seeing it where it was like inbox, X-Men playset Danger Room, like that big, the headquarters, Toy Biz, $400. And I was like,
oh, wow.
We're not doing that.
Wolverine's motorcycle is probably going to go up in value now.
Oh, okay. Now
we'll get to it.
We'll get to it. Yeah. And plus, Alex, you've got some bragging rights to get into as well later. Because you called it.
Oh, did you? Oh, I thought you said Alice. Me? Yeah.
Yeah, you. Alex. Alex. Yes.
Wasn't too hard to call, but yeah. We'll get to it.
I remember when I started on the Spider-Man film, my coworkers were like, do you collect? And I was like, no. And they're like, well, if you should get started, because once films drop, the value goes up. So if you buy it while you're on the show, then you know exactly what's going to be trending in about a year or two.
Oh, insider trading.
We were.
Alice,
do you know how
many?
Yeah, that's like when Spider-Verse started. I was like, well, first comic and toy show, I'm just gonna buy up all the first appearances of Spot.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
Spider-Punk. Yeah. We knew. So I'm not surprised by the X-Men.
Yep.
Usually you don't broadcast about insider trading, Alice.
We're not insider trading. We're insider collecting. It's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to resell it, so it's not trading. It's just for me.
Yeah, Kevin, come on.
Your Honor,
just
I'm going to keep all of these stocks for myself.
I'm innocent.
Yeah. Hey, Wizard used to do the same thing.
Oh yeah.
Look at them now. They're not existent. Okay. All right. Let's say a quick howdy to the chat. Yep, the Calgary is still into me, clearly. Let's say Shiny Plastic People is here. Video Power Gaming. There it is, right? Real Ghostbusters.
Cool.
Everyone's stoked to talk about
Thank you.
it. Christopher Negri is here. Make Mine Marvel Legends. Dorlaxian hanging out. My dude, Matt Bush, thank you for the amazing package that I received in the mail today. We'll get onto that on Tuesday on Toy Anxiety. Actually, I might even do a Ryan Doell pickup show on Friday. The Art of Picking Up with Ryan Doell. That's what I'll call it. Andrew's Gatey's Toys is here. Andrew McGillicuddy. Whoa, what is this? Matt Bush, 5 tornadoes in my county. Well, everyone, stay safe. If you're in Matt Bush's county, stay safe out there. Shondo Gecko is here. I love that name. Michael Taylor, Skylar Davis, the Deadheads. Derek Hoover is here as well. Jack Knight 73. Christopher Alacron is here. Thank you. Bacon McShig, the Ryan Doell fan club. Ooh, somebody's Marvel Legends came in. That's awesome, dude. Great figure, right?
Spider-Verse.
Dude,
Insider trading.
Such a good Chad Stewart. Thank you for being here. Tony Johnson, Johnny Cog went out and hung out with him.
Hey, Johnny.
And Stacy while we were in Calgary. They're the coolest people, man. We got Rick Shards of Glass. Shattered Glass. I usually that's the first time I've really effed it up. Flash 739. I am out of practice. Zach Kinsella. Man, I am really out of. I take 1 week off. And that's it, right? Derek Kudo.
Hey, Derek.
Right? Dartherian, Manic Mike, Stephen Lawrence. Awesome. A lot of folks here. Awesome. Thank you so much. Right? Thank you all for being here and hanging out with us. I don't know if you guys noticed this. We are 25 subscribers away from 1,000 on the show. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, here for hanging out and subscribing and just chilling with us as we talk X-Men. I actually fully blame X-Men. Oh, Allison Troy is here too, and PD Dubs. I full on blame X-Men for the big boost in the numbers lately. X-Men is hot, and we love talking about it, and it's kind of people see it, so I love it. But let's talk for the reason why I usually started this channel. It was to do some DC talk that wasn't anything to do about Zack Snyder. But so I think, when was it? Just a couple days ago? I think on the weekend, Monday.
Yeah,
I don't know.
This week.
Time has no meaning anymore. James Gunn dropped our first look at the Superman costume, which I think is amazing. I noticed the red trunks are back as well. Alice, I know you're pretty stoked for this movie. Besides of, hey, hurry up and put your fucking boots on and stop that thing outside.
I know, right?
What's he doing? He's like casually like, oh.
I mean, what if he's taking them off?
They called me in.
Yeah, right? He's taking them off.
Yeah, he's had it. I mean, his costume's dirty. He's clearly come from outside. I think he's done. He's calling it quits.
He's like, he knows that the Authority are going to show up at some point, and Green Lantern. Yeah. So he's just kind of like,
Yeah. It's like, it's after 6. We gotta go.
I didn't sign up for an OT meal, so I'm just gonna. I'm just gonna head out.
Have you seen the Photoshop of someone putting him in a shoe store? He's in the aisle trying on boots.
Yeah,
I have seen a lot of different. Some of them go really dark. So I saw the one with him on Married with Children with Al Bundy at the shoe store. I saw
nice.
I saw that one too. These are super good. But Alice, what are your first thoughts on this costume?
I like it. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Superman. It's very hard for me to tell the differences between Superman suits. Like, I'm always just like, is the symbol a good-looking symbol? And then I'm like, if it's a good-looking symbol, the rest of it's negligible because it's just blue and red. It's got the cape, it's got the boots. But I like it. I think it looks really good. I like the texture that they've put on the suit. I think it's a newer thing is they really emphasize textures on like suits nowadays, and I really like that.
Yeah, they totally do. And it's the like it does give me like this weird mixture of like classic, what is it, Kingdom Come and New 52.
Oh, the symbol?
Yeah, the symbol for Kingdom Come.
Yeah.
Right? And then the suit with the lines and the collar kind of reminds me of New 52 a little bit. And then of course it's just the trunks give it that classic look. Good curl, good thick curl on the forehead. I don't know. This had
the little lock.
Yep, it's very important. Otherwise, people will know it's Clark Kent right away.
Yeah,
that's a big part of it. I do, I don't know. This did get me excited, even though I still I did wonder, like everyone else, why are you sitting there, bud? There's clearly stuff going on outside. Alex, what are your thoughts on this?
All right, I'm going to go throw a wet blanket on this party.
Oh, okay.
No. I mean, it's hard to judge, right? Because it's a dark image. He's sitting down. There's like dirt on the suit. It's kind of like it's a weird image, right? Like it's unclear like what is going on, like what James Gunn is trying to say. It's like really unexpected for this to be our first look at Superman, right? It's surprising, but it's also not like it's mysterious, right? Because it's not necessarily communicating one thing or the other, like it's we don't know if he's like giving up or if what's happening outside is like bad or good or what's happening, right? Like it's very mysterious, like what we're seeing. And then in terms of the suit, I'm prepared like now to fully eat crow later. And because I mean the thing is like with a movie like this that's like kind of restarting the DC film slate universe. Or whatever universe. I'm sure that so much care went into crafting this suit, and they probably tried on every like possible iteration of the suit, and everyone got eyes on it. I'm sure that like in the fittings and stuff, it looked like amazing. It was like we found the suit, awesome. Mm-hmm. So I'm holding out hope. However, just my first just from seeing this image, my first like initial reaction, like I don't know if it's really what I was looking for or hoping for. At this, that's just my honest reaction to it.
What were you hoping for?
I mean, like one or the other. Either something that felt like really classic, like just Christopher Reeves, like boom, there's Superman, or something that was like different than like what we've seen in superhero movie costumes lately. Like the Fantastic Four, that teaser. Those costumes look totally different than anything the Fantastic Four have ever worn and anything we've really seen in a superhero movie in a while. I don't know, something like that. Like this to me, it's like, it feels like the Brandon Routh suit or the Henry Cavill suit, or just like it feels like it's in line with kind of what we've come to expect, but also not really being the suit, But granted, this is a terrible image to judge it by, but like, so it might be amazing, but I don't have enough to go by yet.
Do you think they'll do the Schumacher Batman thing, where it's like we start with this suit, and at the end of the movie we get a whole new suit?
Yeah, it's possible, definitely.
Because it looks like Brainiac's there in the back, just by colors. I'm just going by color scheme.
Well, somebody said this was, or predicted that this was Solaris, the Tyrant's son from the Grant Morrison. JLA.
Right. Okay. I see that.
I don't know.
I see that. All right, Kevin, you're up. You're the biggest DC fan I know.
I'm with Alice. The minor details, it's Superman when you look at it. I'm a fan of like the flat collar on the front. That's all. a little high collar. It's different, but why is he just chilling when Goku is he doesn't want to fight Goku because he's not as strong. So he's like, I'm just gonna take my boots off. I don't know. We don't know what's happening in this image, but I think the main part is it's got everyone talking about it and really kind of trying to break it down, which to build up hype and keep your movie in the minds of everyone. That it's doing its job, right? So it's meme worthy, obviously. I kind of brought that up already, so that's gonna keep it around a while. So otherwise, I am excited to watch this though when it comes out.
Just because of the because you were saying like meme worthy and how like, and Alex was even saying just how like subdued it kind of feels, like he looks a little sad.
It's almost a little sinister. Is that just me? Like the purple backlit from him, and like I know like James Gunn obviously wants to differentiate himself a lot from Zack Snyder. It's like a dirtier, rougher version of Spider-Man, Superman. Got Spider-Man on the brain.
Very different.
Like Zack Snyder's Superman is very clean, he's very like poised, but this one's like he's like not paying attention to the camera. It's like he's like being caught like in a moment where he's just kind of like doing his own thing. Maybe he's tired, maybe it's something sinister with the color. I don't know. I think it's a nice different take on Superman.
Well, it's funny. It does kind of remind me of Spider-Man because and you're saying like the Henry Cavill Superman, really felt like alien. Like he felt like a alien kind of cold guy. This feels more like something you'd see Peter Parker doing. He's like, there's something very human about he's sitting down, he's putting his shoes on. Like, what's more relatable than that? Like, you got to put his boots on one at a time, right?
Yeah. Working
so
man.
Literal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's interesting too, because that was Grant Morrison when he did his like New 52 Action Comics Superman reboot. His perspective was like Superman is like a man of the people, like he is a working class, like and his Superman was like wearing a t-shirt and work boots. Like he was very like stripped down, salt of the earth.
Yeah. But that's always kind of been the Superman thing, right? Like where he is just a mild-mannered reporter, which is still like just a respectable job. He's just doing his job, but he still also takes the train and he takes cabs and he walks to work.
Yeah.
Right. Like he only flies.
He's a humble guy.
And
his villains are all like corrupt politicians and evil businessmen and that sort of like elite class, that he's like the people striking back at those puppet masters.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to tie a lot of that into this as well. Like, I hope they do. I don't know. I'm super excited. Now that we saw this, I was because my first prediction was we're going to get a first look at San Diego for the costume. But now I have a feeling that we're going to get a teaser for San Diego. That's my new updated but watch, he'll drop a trailer he'll drop a first teaser tomorrow. Just to make sure I stay wrong.
Yeah. He's listening right now.
Yeah, he probably is. I hope so. James Gunn, if you're listening, you're also welcome to come on at any time.
To talk X-Men.
Yeah. No Superman.
Hey,
there's a good comment. There's no phone booths anymore, so he needs a hotel room to change.
That's fair.
He's just chilling.
Yeah.
What, are there no Barnes and Noble bathrooms handy?
It's not quite as cool as a phone booth,
It's occupied.
There's no fear of accidentally flashing someone, so it's not as fun,
That's freaking sweet. All right, should we get to X-Men?
Let's do it.
Oh, before we move on from Superman, look what I got. The
is that the
NECA Toonie Comics Superman, which is super this is doing it. Super awesome. This reminds me of it's like a Mad Magazine kind of, vibe. It's really great.
Yeah,
His neck,
you,
his head articulates.
Oh, it moves.
Yeah.
Did you guys go to the comic shop for Free Comic Book Day?
I did.
Nice.
Ooh, what'd you get?
There was
Okay. Well, she's gone.
Alex
I
mentioned
didn't
Mad
expect-
Magazine. There was
I
a
didn't
Mad
expect to
Magazine
have
too.
to tell people what I got.
Yeah. Well, it's always okay to show some pickups,
You know, this one,
right?
this one,
Oh, okay.
this one.
Oh,
How
my shop
nice.
didn't even have those.
Yeah, there was a Spider-Man one.
Got that.
There was a cool indie one. I actually don't know this one, but it looked really cool. The art was really great.
That's the
And
best.
there
time
was
to pick these up.
There was a manga too. Someone did their own rendition of One Piece, and I was like, that's really awesome.
Cool.
There's a Mad Magazine one, and it's like a Clark Kent looking dude, blue costume, and it's ripped apart. And the first bubble says like, this is a job for, and the next bubble's like, oh crap, I was already in costume. So it was like Superman getting ready to change, but he just ripped it off. So when you said like a Mad Magazine style, I'm like, it was exactly that cover that it looked like.
Oh, good.
No, that's awesome. Alex, did you go for Comic Book Day?
No, I didn't. I was
Oof.
busy.
But I am a bad fan too, because I kind of was expecting that they would have that kind of at Frankensons.
Oh yeah,
Saturday.
Yeah,
no dice. A lot of people in Star Wars costumes on May the 4th on Saturday.
Same day.
Yep.
because they do have comics at Frankensons, right? Like there's
They
some
do.
vendor,
So
but I
I
guess
was
it's like independent vendors and stuff.
Even still, you'd be so. I don't know. That's what I was like. I don't know what I was expecting, but whatever it was, there was no free comic books. There was nothing free at Frankensons.
Yeah,
Not a damn thing. Kevin, what did you pick up?
I picked up. There was like a Lois Lane comic, and I thought it would be good for my daughter, so I grabbed it. And then she's like, "Daddy, we're driving." She's like, "There's a bad word in here." It wasn't terrible, so I thought it was a kid appropriate one, but not that appropriate, I guess. Like the art style on the cover didn't look that serious. So the old saying, definitely judge a book by its cover. I got like a Spidey and Friends and some other stuff. There was an Udon Street Fighter comic.
Oh, I saw that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just grabbed that because my friend Chamba's in it. I think he did a story in it, so that was cool.
awesome.
Nice. The Street Fighter comics can be pretty awesome in the artwork department.
Absolutely.
They're freaking cool. And do you know who Street Fighter fought? They fought the X-Men.
Good segue.
I'm not gonna question it.
I'm not gonna quit. Oh, won't let me show it, Kevin. I might need you.
Oh, you rookie.
I don't know, man. I don't
you
know
know
what I'm
how
doing.
to hack?
I don't know what I'm doing. I was like, it worked. Get this, it worked before. All of a sudden now I'm like, oh, I'm just getting black screens. This can't be.
Where do you
this
want me to
can't be
start?
good. Well, we can start at the beginning of the last week's episode, part 1 of what is it? Tolerance for Extinction?
Tolerance is extinction.
Extinction. Thank you. And I actually had it on a shot where Cable is just chilling out, polishing his guns on a bench.
Oh, when he was shooting out the glass bottles.
He's shooting out the glass balls. But I like that he just sits there and and meanwhile, Jean and Cyclops are watching him. And he's just like, Jean, I'm kind of a shit dad, you know? And
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
He
Also kind of
learned
a
from the
Slightly
worst.
shit husband.
yeah. Right. Yeah. He's not. Yeah. Cyclops has got. We all know he has issues, and that's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Nobody's perfect, and at least he's now becoming kind of more aware of.
Yeah,
his
as long
own-
as you're striving to be better, you can always
Yeah.
are redeemable.
Right. But I love that they started doing like they are kind of like starting to acknowledge this stuff with just him and Jean talking it out, and Jean kind of being like even Jean, I think she was talking about how she wasn't she should have been closer with Madeline. Even just based off like she didn't have a choice. Like Madeline's existence is not Madeline's choice.
Yeah.
Right? Like she would, everything that happened there was out of both of their control. There was no consent on the cloning, and they were sharing memories, and that maybe if working together, they probably could have done better and been better.
I think it's also important to note that Bishop lost Cable in the future.
Correct.
Whoops.
Like
He was at like a gas station, and I just picture him grabbing like a Slurpee and a whole bunch of stuff, and he leaves. He's like, I think I forgot something, and there's just a baby on the counter.
Yeah. In the time stream.
Yeah.
That's why Bishop hasn't shown up yet. He's still out there looking for him.
It's gonna be awkward when he gets back.
Yeah. Oh God.
I can't show my face at that mansion without the baby.
Yeah. That's so true. Shard's gonna show up instead, right? But it is pretty, like, again, they're just kind of like, there's so much going on. So we gotta have that whole thing with like Cyclops and Jean kind of just talking about the relationships and this new family dynamic that's not really working. And even though Cyclops tries to talk to him like a son, Cable doesn't really have it. And they kind of go into like the war room, right? The X-Men war room, and hang on, I'll lower that. If we go into the X-Men war room where Cable's kind of just like, hey, this Bastion guy, he's bad. He's a bad dude. And he comes from being a Sentinel. He is made and designed to be part of mutant hunting. And it all just came from like, I believe this is the episode they talk about his past, like where it's like his dad was infected by Nimrod.
Yeah, they go to his home.
Right.
They get kind of like Silence of the Lambs with Bastion, right? They're like in his childhood bedroom, like trying to figure out like what made him the way he is,
right? And how he would draw Sentinels, like killing mutants. Like it was
super
just
creepy stuff.
Really weird.
Yeah, his mom was like, "Oh, that's just my little boy. That's boys will be boys. He'll draw Sentinels killing people. That's fine."
You knew she was going to be transforming at some point. The moment they're like, there's another life form, I'm like, you're all dead. You're dead. Get out of that house now.
Yep. Right.
Like there was that detail. Did you guys see who the mom was? Like in X-Men animated series, One Man's Worth, when Bishop goes in the past and they blow up Nimrod when they're saving Xavier, they first go into a bar, and the mom is the I think the server from that bar.
Yeah.
No.
Who's like, she's like racist.
And the dad is like a custodian from the school because they were on Charles's campus at his school. So when they blew up Nimrod and the piece of him I guess went into that custodian, and he made a baby with that lady.
Waitress.
That's how babies works. Yeah. And then that's how they make a Bastion.
They made a baby.
Yeah.
Yep. They made a little Bastion child.
Little sea bass.
Sea bass.
But that was super, like this whole episode again, I've got to say it's one of those like horror movie episodes. Like starts off pretty casual, starts off pretty like, hey, this is who this guy is. And in this war room, I believe this is the scene too, where they kind of talk about like, hey, like if you knew about this, why didn't you just go back in time and stop this? And
stop Genosha,
about Genosha. Like if you know this is all going to happen, this is what this guy's going to do, why not just stop him? And that's where Bishop kind of explains, like, I can't. Tried, it can't. It won't let me do it.
There's certain points in time that just you can't alter.
Yeah, Beast.
It seems like a bit of a cop out, but okay.
Yeah,
that's one of the things from like is it like Loki or even Spider-Man when Beast talks about like the Camartage, the monks or whatever, that there's that one point that doesn't change. The what's it called? Somebody's got to know.
It's called a plot convenience.
Yeah.
I like that. And then you picked up the fancy glass. It's called a plot.
Yeah.
Take a sip.
Right. Right. Kenny Knuckles, thank you for being here, Knuckles. Kevin always beats me to these fun facts.
I do nothing all day long.
Yeah, you got to beat him to it, man. He does. But I do like those little details that they do for this as well.
Yeah.
And again, I get why they do that. Like, if it was just that easy to time travel and just stop something, you need to come up with, a convenient plot device that's going to stop that. Otherwise, it's just
you have no story, because you'd be like, well, why don't they just go and kill Bastion when he's a kid? Like, that whole thing.
Just kill him out. And then kill baby Hitler too while you're at it. Just go through it, right?
Deadpool did it.
Deadpool did it. Yeah,
that's right.
Really, he's the most powerful mutant in the whole universe.
Is anyone else surprised we have not seen him at all in the series, even as a cameo?
A little.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised too. Anyways, I start getting into that, we'll completely derail everything. Okay. And then I believe we get through it. There's a lot of because this episode's leading up to something so big here at the end of it.
Here, real quick, here they talk about how Cable says that Bastion actually ushers in a utopia for the world. Yeah. It's rare. It's rare to see a X-Men future that is a utopia as opposed to dystopia, but it's a utopia only for humans, because they've basically enslaved mutants and used them for all their labor. And it's this even more disturbing version of Days of Future Past, where it's everything's nice and clean and futuristic and advanced, and yet it comes at this monstrous cost, right? So that was kind of interesting, an interesting new aspect to the X-Men future stuff.
Yeah, that's it. I love all that. There's so many alternate future timelines with the X-Men. And there's always there's Bishop, there's Cable, there's Rachel Summers. And they all come from these different ones. But I'm all for it. I'm all for it. But while they're also in there, I guess the news breaks. Is this correct? This is where we learn about this. And I think the X-Men are learning about this for the first time as well.
He's coming back.
Scandal exposed. I didn't even see that.
Yeah,
that's great.
Right, but this is awesome. This is great too, because now this is going to lead up to the episode's end. I'm going to assume everyone has watched in the chat at this point, if we're going back 2 weeks, or a week, and so this is all going to lead into what's going to happen at the end of the episode. But this is where now things are leaked. Now they're going to try to this is the media and Bastion. They're going to completely try to ruin any kind of reputation the X-Men have. And this is going to, as far as I'm concerned, this is just going to blow things up even more at the end. Guys, do we have thoughts on the Shi'ar Empire, or do we want to go?
Well, how messed up is it that human beings know of the existence of an advanced alien races, such that it can be on the news, and that's not the news, and yet they're still so wrapped up in their petty bigotry over mutants, and it's it's
that's
so
a good
messed
point.
up.
That's a good point, because in our world we're always we have these fights and conflicts, and we think we're the center of the universe, and literally in this one they're there's other life forms, we're getting invaded all the time,
and it changes
specifically
nothing.
New York constantly. They're on the news, but it's you know what, we can't, it's you're fighting within the planet when there's so many other
bigger
planets
things
out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, have you heard the theory that humans will wipe themselves out? The theory of why no one's contacted us is that intelligent life will wipe itself out before it can get far out enough to contact other species. I feel that's a very possible thing with humans, is we're so focused on our own internal issues that even if we know that there are bigger things, we're we are too busy focusing on our own internal issues to be worrying about all this other stuff.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Well, it's kind of like a Star Trek thing, right? Where it's once they got over their own bullshit, they were able to go out and explore space and accept new life and new civilizations.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
That's how I feel. And I think this, and yeah, just to go back to X-Men, I would love to do a Star Trek show one time. We should we should totally break down. I love Trek. I always talk so much Star Wars. I never really talk about Trek enough, I feel. But this whole scene here, we actually go from like the X-Men watching this to Jubilee and Sunspot's mom. They're watching this at the dinner table as well. And we actually see William Stryker on the news as well through this.
Yeah, right.
Right. And that's kind of, which I thought was super cool to see. I hate William Stryker. He's a great villain.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of cool to have him come on as like this expert about the mutant human war. And I just thought, of course they're going to bring that guy on. Like,
yeah,
why would they bring on Magneto? They're going to bring on the mutant, the human equivalent almost. Right.
And that's something that Fox like would not have allowed back in the day, like they're able to actually have a character like that. I mean, maybe we'll see more of him like that. God Loves, Man Kills is like one of the defining X-Men stories, comics. So
right.
It'd be cool to see that explored.
Well, with Nightcrawler on the team now, it seems more possible.
Yeah.
Right. Like I think that's a great storyline too. By the way, for anyone who hasn't read God Love Man Kills and you're waiting, you're trying to find the trade, you can pre-order the Epic Collection version of it. It comes out this December.
Nice.
God, I can't believe I actually remembered that, but I can't remember. Right. But it was but it's a great story. So I would highly suggest that people go and read that one. I think that's a staple for X-Men reading. It's God Love Man Kills. And then I think from there we go into like just Rogue's Recovery. Again, just more stuff with everything with Nightcrawler has been an absolute hit with me.
Yeah,
on the show.
He's great.
And
especially later in this episode.
Especially later in this episode.
Kevin, wait, while you're scrolling. Yes, that screen right there.
Oh. All right, settle down, Alice. Relax. I was kidding.
Why does he be naked?
Make sure he's not hiding any weapons.
That's my Halloween costume this year. That's what I'm gonna.
There's one concealed weapon.
There's one. Well played. Well played. No, by the way, all this stuff too, so good. Everything that's like, even though like this whole scene with Magneto and what's her face from Paul, and he's just like
Valerie Cooper. Yeah.
Valerie Cooper. Yeah. Him not talking and her being like, I'm just going to let you go.
Dude, they had his tattoo. His tattoo was like consistent with previous the previous show and everything, so they kept that consistent and
the movies too.
Yeah, exactly. It's so good, and there's so much revealed. Sinister is like, oh, I'm just here for all the free test subjects. I'm gonna turn on him. I'm just so like there's so many different things happening at the same time, and like the same with Valerie Cooper. She's seeing what's happening, kind of the horrors from Genosha that she lived through.
Yep.
So I'm surprised they just kind of have her chilling there. I guess they're sort of on the same side. And she kind of alludes to working with Bastion, like, oh, you said this wasn't going to happen. So there's a little bit more revealed there, and it's really she kind of sees what's happening, and I think her kind of goals are being changed here as she's
realized Magneto was right.
Yes. That is a big message in this episode. And and we also see like, not only is Valerie Cooper working with Bastion, we see a lot of villains from across the Marvel universe.
That's right.
Yeah, right.
Right? Like
they're phoning in.
They're phoning
on the Zoom.
Yeah. By the way, if you ever want to know what dailies looks like at my work, that was it.
Dr. Doom gives notes.
Dr. Doom depends. It depends on what show we're on, but yeah, sometimes that happens.
Doom does not give notes.
Doom declares.
Doom demands notes.
I did love that though. Like it was great to see. Anytime they're bringing in the Marvel Universe on this show now, like I know it feel like if I feel like it done any other way, it just feels like fan service. But for some reason, this show makes it feel special and like this is gonna sound dumb, but it makes it feel real.
Like
Like
kind of makes sense though that they're all in on it.
Right? Like it's just
they don't go out of their way, like, and they don't call attention to it. It's just sort of like, this is
There's
we all
no
remember
fanfare.
from the original show. This is just this is the world they live in. It's the Marvel world, you know.
right.
Yeah.
Because he never said, like they never said, well, Dr. Doom, it's great to see you here. It was just like they don't even actually give any shout outs. I don't even think any names are dropped.
Right.
Right?
Only in the captions.
Only in the captions. Baron Zemo. Right? Like again, and how cool is that? Oh, this looks so cool. Did anyone else try to like also do the pausing on the show and try to figure out who the other silhouettes are?
I couldn't figure it out. They're very, very generic.
Yes. Okay.
It reminds me of Venture Brothers, the like Guild of Calamitous Intent.
That's a good shout out. That's But I did, this is to me, this is just one of like just those nice world building scenes where it's just like, of course, the dictators, the evil dictators, the Hydra rulers and all that kind of stuff, these guys that are in charge of their own like I don't want to say
evil
like
corporations,
like evil corporate, like just like these groups that are the extremist groups. I guess that's the best way to put it, right? Like Hydra. I was surprised we didn't see anything from AIM, but that could be coming. Though I think MODOK on the screen would have been hilarious. I think that might have taken it out of it. But just Zemo and Doom just seemed to be, and Madam Hydra. I believe that was the other one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because you just see her silhouette and hear the voice.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But I would assume just from the hair going over half face, I just assumed that was Madam Hydra. Anyone in the chat, if you disagree, if you think it's someone else, please let us know.
But she didn't hold her S's like most snake themed villains. So
right.
That's why I didn't make that assumption.
That's stereotyping. Okay.
Just go full 80s cheese.
Yeah.
Although the omission is strange because it's like we see the other two. So like why are they not showing us her? Like is she going to play into things later on? Is that a bigger thing than we realize?
I hope so.
She seemed concerned with Valerie Cooper, so I assumed it was like a politician or something. That's what I just chalked it up to.
Right.
Oh,
okay.
maybe.
She keep her there with you and keep her safe, and that was it. I'm like, the villains don't. The world conquering villains don't care about her.
Right. The Christopher Alacron saying Demoya said it just some diplomat, not Madam Hydra.
Oh, 2 for 2, baby, right there.
We got all the super villains and some diplomat who's also a super villain because diplomats, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So it's just the bad people of the world of various nations are in on this.
Perfect.
Oh, sorry, go on.
No, I'm just saying I just love that the show just does that. Like it doesn't, not everything has to be an established super villain. Like it can just be just regular shitty people in power.
Yeah, that's the X-Men's greatest villain is just the everyday hatred of human beings. Yeah, that's their real arch foe. Which also Bastion, when he lays out his plan, why he's done what he's done, like it really is like it's haunting because he mentions that this whole thing was activated by Professor Xavier being assassinated, right? And that one incident happening to one person sort of galvanized the world into, all right, this has gone too far. Like, let's try to embrace tolerance. It was a martyrdom that helped repair the human mutant relationship, at least tenuously for a while. Genosha is such a massive disaster that it is he's banking on it kind of overwhelming people's ability to their empathy, that just, okay, well, this problem is just so impossible, so horrible that like you check out emotionally, right?
Right.
It's sort of, it's almost like the news thing where it's like, you know, like one death is like that's a personal interest story. It's like that's a tragedy, you know, a million deaths is a statistic, right? I'm butchering the phrase,
becomes
but
incomprehensible. Yeah,
but that's that's essentially it's Bastion is playing off of and weaponizing just this real kind of darkness of humans, you know, of just human instinct. Like, yeah, it's pretty.
What does he say? When you have no skin in the game, like you just at some point.
Yeah, it's like
it's
another country, it's another people.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, it's and it's just overwhelming, right? It's like the tragedy of it. So yeah, it's you know, props to this show for like going there.
Well, it's continuously mirroring real life, right? A lot of the themes and troubles that the X-Men kind of represent.
I mean, it's
consistently doing that.
It's always keeping in mind like what was so effective about the original cartoon is just like giving these true themes and ideas embedded within the superhero story that you can take with you into your daily life and think about, like, you know, how it affects your actions, what, you know, how you look at the world.
Well, it calls out our comfort, right? Like that's what it sometimes feels like, and that's X-Men.
Thing.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what X-Men's all about at the end of the day, which is what makes it so awesome. Right? We've got then of course it talks about just getting back into the episode, because this is where shit kind of really starts to go down. We see I love the stereotypes for the people wanting.
I saw the mullet and I was like,
when he calls this guy the average Joe, it's Joe Dirt, right?
Yeah,
you thought of it too, Alex?
Yeah,
right.
How can you
like,
not?
I was like, oh, this show pulls no punches. There it is.
Because he calls him like the average Joe, blah blah, this and that, and I'm like, that does look like Joe Dirt.
Yep. And so it was, and it was kind of, you know, but I do like, again, they're showing like, hey, you know what? We are creating an army here, and it's easy to find these people, right? There are a lot of folks.
They think they're helping, like the cause, like, you know, they don't really know what they're signing up for, but it doesn't matter because they won't remember, you know, like.
Yeah, again, it's great. It's like it's showing the insidious nature of allowing your hate to control your actions. And yeah, they've that component of like, oh, they forget, they don't know that they've been turned into like monsters and they're just going about their daily lives. But like, it's like, that's in them. That's, you know, that's just waiting to be activated.
Symbolism, metaphors.
Yeah. And it does, like, and we see at the partway through the episode, I think, what is it? At some point, Jubilee and Sunspot, they're like, you know what? We got to get the hell out of here. Like, sick of it gets to the point where Sunspot's just sick of his mom's bullshit.
And she's like, let's go shopping. That's what we do. We're like, let's go buy toys.
Let's go buy toys.
Classic Jubilee.
Yeah. She's like, you got a trust fund and I have. Yeah. What is it? Well, you have a trust fund and I have style. Let's go to the mall. And we do see her try on her like one of her more modern costumes.
Yeah.
Right there we go. There it is. I speak, Kevin delivers.
Okay.
This is, and what's funny is I think this is the one she wears while she's a vampire.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. And does she have the baby too? She's like adopted a baby at that point in the comics.
Yeah, she's done a lot, right? It's there's a lot that happens. Yeah, Vampire Jube's costume.
So the Toys R Us Build-A-Figure wave costume.
Yeah,
that's it. Yes.
Although it's kind of unfortunate because it does sort of look like an Operation Zero Tolerance
It does.
costume. It's like
It's the purple.
the purple collar. It like makes it look more like Bastion. But yeah,
Right?
It's all good.
She grabbed her raincoat on the way out.
Yeah,
she did. And this is the point too, where all of a sudden they just start, hey, we're gonna start activating all of these humans, and it's creepy. Like they did it in such a great, scary way. I think my favorite transition scene is the family watching TV together.
Absolutely, yeah. The little kids and their parents just both. Yeah,
that's so.
Yeah,
bad.
it's great.
But the Trish Tilby one was awesome.
Well, I didn't know. I don't know if this was something you guys knew was going to happen, but I was like, "Oh my gosh, the twist!"
Yeah,
I did not see this one coming.
The second she puts down that coffee cup, you're like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
There's one in there with me.
It's classic. He's the scientist looking it up, and of course, as he gets the results, there's one with you.
Yeah.
It was like you saw it coming a mile away, but it's still so good.
Yeah, it's like at a Battlestar Galactica. That's what it reminded me of. Like, oh, she's a Cylon.
Yeah.
And then she
Call
starts
is coming
Cylon.
from inside the building.
Yeah, always. And what a great, like, again, all these fight scenes in the mansion, because now this is where all of these people are now rocketing themselves off to. There's
there are like protesters outside, and I mean, just that real quick before, like, just that effect of Beast looking at the second I saw that they had like a holographic globe that he was like, and they'll start showing up on here where it's like, that like that globe is just going to fill up with red dots. And it's
not going to be
so
like 3.
effective. Right. It's like, oh, this is everywhere. This is the whole world. Like,
and how they got so many. So like, it makes you wonder how long this has been going for.
So did she volunteer for this, do you think?
Yeah,
do you think
had to, at some point, and just didn't
that's
have
what he
memory
said,
of
right?
it.
They were all volunteers. Yeah.
Oh.
Before they changed their mind, you know what I mean? Like they went to go
it's not against their will.
Yeah. But they didn't even remember doing it, so they, they don't even realize that they can't take back that decision.
True.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it does get activated. Like, doesn't it? Does his mom? It's his mom who activates it, or is she the first one to be activated?
She's the first one, I think, because it's controlled by Bastion.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's where Jean and the Summers family, they go for a little trip.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, the Summers family takes a trip to his mom's house to be like, hey, what's your deal? And what's your son's deal? And that's where we see all the creepy photos and stuff. But that's where she also does like Exorcist style, like transitioning.
Lots of horror movies, but also credit to like this show doesn't skip a beat. Like it's also a moment for like Cyclops. There's a beat of him looking at Cable, looking at the family photo of Bastion and his parents, and it's like, this is we're in this like family home, and it's something that we never had. The Summers family has not been allowed to have this thing, even though it's like we find out that it is like the sort of horror movie, and it's like, okay, well, maybe regular life isn't all it's chalked up to be. Like, monstrous people, have regular families,
No, that's actually a really good point too. I could see where they would make this show just seems to do that. Like that seems like a point that they would make, that like just because you grew up in a loving family, it doesn't mean you're going to grow up necessarily loving.
Yes, exactly. Well said.
Right. So it's Sunspot's kind of another like thing of that too, right? Where it's just his mother comes off very like understanding and loving towards him regardless, but still like you don't tell anybody. And right. And I love the part where they get attacked in the mall as well. Like that's just such an X-Men thing to happen. Again,
I know it's come full circle for Jubilee.
Yeah. Didn't Jubilee even say it too? Where it was just like, oh, why does this always like why are these sandals always at the mall? Like
she's gonna love it when Amazon comes out.
Yeah.
Dude, next day delivery, life changing.
Yeah. right? But I love all this stuff. The Sentinels coming through. Then we get one of the coolest. Yeah, like
Yeah,
Dude,
that's
this
scary.
fight was unreal. Everything in the mansion.
Everything
Yeah.
in the even just that shot of all of these Sentinels looking over Rogue while she's
Oh yeah,
as
through the
they-
window.
did you see
Through
the
the
eyes, the
No, and they
glowing
were
eyes?
silent. Yeah.
Amazing.
like
So
it just
good.
it's shit like that just has me just like this show is like it's nonstop. Like it doesn't give you a time. Like the only time you get to breathe is when the credits roll.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like that's it. The show just goes for it, and I love it. And it does lead to what you just were saying, Kevin, to probably one of the greatest fight scenes we've like.
Mhm.
Are you saying it's in the show or just in superhero media? Period.
I say the show. It was pretty epic. I don't know if it's up like the top superhero.
I can't think of
fight.
many
That's pretty bold.
better though.
Yeah. I mean, Wolverine falling, dude, he was falling out of the air and he was just slashing and spinning.
Yeah.
Like as he was coming down,
Yeah.
he stabbed Trish Tilby like 8 times in the back.
Yeah,
He didn't even care. Because I'm like, wait, can't you save these people? He's like, fuck it.
Yeah.
And then
He
he just-
definitely
The thing
did
is,
know,
I
like
agree. I'm on Wolverine's side. I'm like, at a certain point, you can't save everyone.
Yeah.
correct.
Wolverine, how did you know they heal?
It's
Say
like,
what?
God damn
It
it!
was my plan all along.
Yeah, but I love that whole thing with him and Nightcrawler. I think it's so
Yeah.
like I don't know, man. I think it's maybe there's a biasness in me. I definitely throw it in my top 5 team ups that I've
that was
seen.
pretty epic.
Yeah.
Right? Like I know the Avengers movies have given us a lot of cool shit that I thought I would never see, like outside of the comic books. I think there's like the one thing that always sticks to my mind is Avengers Age of Ultron. And there's a shot where it's like Vision shooting out of his forehead.
Oh
and
yeah,
then,
yeah.
You know, the ion blast and all that stuff, and they're just like going after Ultron. And there's that shot, and I'm just like, shit, this is like really happening because these are comic book visuals that you never thought the Hollywood system would allow to happen because
Yeah.
it's just so out there. So it's
This
always
se-
super cool. Yeah.
This sequence has like a real elegance to it. You know, the way that it's like you're in the air, you move back down to the ground. You've got, Nightcrawler utilizing his powers and his fighting abilities in a way we've never seen. Like
Yeah.
the
Soundtrack.
threat, the villains are like, when their tongues start like coming out, it's like, but yeah, it's all like extremely clear. It's very readable, but visceral at the same time. Like it's really well directed.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm trying to collect my thoughts here because I just get super I get
'cause it's so good.
like
It's overwhelmed.
I do get overwhelmed because
Nightcrawler has 3 swords. Like,
3
come
swords.
on.
and the fact that he's just again, like you were saying, it's so readable. And then Nightcrawler, the beautiful teleporting and the sound effects that they use for the teleporting, and I know that we hear it also in the intro, but it's exactly what you thought it would sound like.
Yeah.
And at one point, he grabs Wolverine and they teleport, and you see it from Wolverine's
my God.
POV.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Have we does that ever happen? Has that ever happened in the movies?
I don't
No, this
No,
is like,
right?
I believe this is a full-on first where we actually see what is happening when he teleports.
This show is so great at like kind of thinking outside the box in those ways, taking these things that we all know to be true about the X-Men and showing us a new way of looking at it or just mixing it up. Like really cool stuff.
You're right. Like, because we see Cyclops use his powers as concussive blasts, not just laser beams in this.
Right. Yeah.
Even with Jean, like with Cyclops is just, we see Jean actually be Jean, not just falling over.
Yeah.
Like it's
Just moaning all the time.
just moaning all the time. And that's it. And it's great seeing, like, how Cyclops is like, I'll get the debris, you get the building. I think that was in the episode before this.
Yeah.
Right. And I think she even takes on Sinister. I think that's the. Is that this
Next
episode or
episode.
the next episode?
Was that
But yeah.
Madeline?
Next episode.
No, next episode. It's Jean.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
Jean. Madeline's in the green. Sorry, this is skipping a little bit. In the green dress, no?
No,
Yes.
Madeline is
That's
dead.
Jean?
She dead. She died
Yeah.
on.
I was so confused because I was like,
Genosha.
"Oh, okay, Madeline's dead," and then they were like, "No, that's Madeline," and then I was like, "What?" So I must have misunderstood something. But
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad that was clarified because I was gonna say that her outfit's not that cool. She took a downgrade.
Marvel Girl
Oh,
costume.
yeah.
Marvel.
I
Girl,
gotta,
this
I
was
gotta
a
go
hot
find that
take.
one.
Yeah,
That's not so
we'll
much.
get
That's
to
not a
that.
hot take to me. That's
Okay.
I agree.
Yeah.
I've never.
It's a
been
very
that much
dated
fan.
costume. It's very dated. That was. Hang on. I'm just gonna talk about the comics for a hot minute. When they did the Krakoa era and they brought her back in that costume,
Mhm.
I was a little like, I would rather have something new. Like you can't go from what she had in X-Men Red before Krakoa and then go back to that. Because
Well,
her
it's just
X-Men
so
Red
like
costume was awesome.
yeah, that was a cool costume. I mean, the Jim Lee costume, like if you didn't grow up with that, people don't like it, right? But I've always liked it. I think it's cool.
Yeah,
It's like
agreed.
it's an inverted classic X-Men uniform. Like it's cool.
Yep. Nope. It's the X-Men colors, man. That's what she rocks.
Yeah.
But also while all this fighting is happening with Wolverine and Nightcrawler pretty much fending off as much as they can in the mansion, Beast has gotten his ass kicked. Rogue is out, so that's kind of that's their muscle, right?
Yeah.
Two heaviest hitters, really, when you think about it. We see one
But
of the
they do
cool
have
things-
they do have Juggernaut, right?
they do have somewhere. Where,
well, no,
you know-
Morph turns into Juggernaut
Marv
and
turns
like
into Juggernaut. Yes,
and like
Yeah.
breaks through the wall like for a second.
was-
you know.
yeah, he does the Kool-Aid Man thing. Super cool. Another cool thing that see, there it is. That's
Yeah,
that's so awesome.
amazing.
Right? It's all
So good.
distorted. Like the field of view is all warped. And for a split second, you're like, why are we looking at? Why does this look so weird? And then you realize, dude, I just teleported.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a
Yeah.
cool thing to experience. My thing was, instead of teleporting every guy out of there, why didn't she's like, we have to protect the Rogue. Why didn't you just teleport her and the whole bed? But he did each zombie robot one at a time.
Well,
That's
maybe she couldn't be moved. Maybe that was dangerous.
bet.
I don't know. I don't
Take the
know.
bet. Yeah.
Plot reasons, you know.
That's
all right. Or
That's
just
my only
yeah.
gripe for the whole series.
This will look so much cooler when she finds out what I did. I teleported 500 sentinels out of your bedroom. I mean, but I also want to talk about because Cable, Jean, the Summers family on their Summers family vacation, they get attacked in the Blackbird again. Cyclops cracks a joke about, hey, Beast is going to be pissed we destroyed another Blackbird. But there's that car in the inside, which is a total Cyclops car.
Yeah, he's got all the toys.
He's got all the toys. I
It's
love
like a
that
Porsche, right, or something.
Yeah, and they do that whole chase down through a canyon. I get after these sentinels. There it is. Right? You've got
Yeah.
take the wheel. Jesus, take the wheel.
Jesus.
Let's go. I love. Oh, I didn't notice this. Dartharian
Is that actually the license plate?
I hope so. Now I gotta find.
That would be amazing.
Would you get your own vanity license plate of a nickname somebody gave you, Doell? Like, would you get Doell
I don't.
as a vanity plate?
If it fits.
Oh, it
If
fits.
If it fits, it sticks. That's what I say. Right? Like but like that. It's cheesy. That whole car scene is super cheesy. But man, I love it.
Although
I
Jean
absolutely love it.
saves them, but not the car. Like when they fly out of the canyon, she puts her like telekinetic bubble around the three of them, but in the car, she just lets that crash. It's like, why not around the whole car? Like, I know we're just blowing up all our stuff, but like Xavier can't have that unlimited funds.
Right. It almost feels like he does sometimes.
Yeah.
Right. And so during all these fights, then we get to this where the Magneto gets released and he pretty much electromagnetic pulses the entire planet.
Yeah, which is
And we
from
get
the
to
Magneto War, which was like a late 90s X-Men storyline, where he does. And it's every now and then the comics will hit you with a really good Magneto, like showing people he's not fucking around, and that's like that storyline was like kind of muddled. It was like sort of towards the tail end of like the 90s X-Men comics, but that of course this show is gonna pull that moment from it, like really good.
It's so good. Go ahead, Kevin. You look like you're about to.
I was gonna say, is he always that strong and he's just holding back to have a all planet effective kind of power?
Yeah, because I mean, it's like it is like Wolverine says, like he's declaring war. Like it's like even for Magneto, that is some serious shit. Like you have now made the entire planet your enemy.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very good point. It's not just a select group of humans. He's now shut the planet down.
Yeah.
And so that's why we get to see Silver Samurai, one of my favorite villains. He's such a cool character.
And he looks so cool here too. Like it's just the shininess of his armor. Yeah.
The lighting, yeah.
First it was just his back looking out into the sky, right? And then is it in this montage that we see Spidey?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, it's like right after this because it's showing people being affected all over the world.
There's Omega Red for sure.
Omega Red.
Oh, Omega Red, right? Yeah, he thaws.
That's your favorite dude, Alex.
Can you get that on Mondo still?
He's sold out for the time being, but yeah, this guy's he's coming out of the chamber.
He's a cool. Here it is.
There it is.
There's a bunch of like
Spidey.
Spider-Man, and then I can't remember if it was this episode or the next one, but I think it was the next one. Captain America. Sorry,
the one before.
Was that the one before?
Yeah, when he fought Rogue.
Yeah, I was like, oh, Captain America, what are you doing here?
being a captain.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if we're going to see something in the next one too because how does this affect Stark Industries?
Yeah, Iron Man's he just can't move.
Yeah, he's like stuck in his god dang it.
Is anyone
help?
there? Manual release out of the suit.
Yeah.
Guys, it's back there.
Yeah. So now because of the EMP, all the Sentinels drop. They're done. Huge. They're kaput.
Yeah.
And just the X-Men are hanging out. What is it? Morph's having a beer. Morph's having a beer out. We're watching the mansion burn, more or less. And some dude comes and launchpad McQuacks right into the front lawn. Right, and it's our favorite dude.
It's me.
He was wearing that weird like bug suit that like Lalandra had the first time she showed up.
Yeah, Professor Kev, right? Is that what we call
him? That's right.
And and he does the whole, "Hey, to me, my X-Men." This is it, right?
Yeah.
Is it the same episode where Magneto was like my X-Men, like in front of Xavier, and I was like, oh, they're having a battle of whose X-Men is who? I can't remember anymore.
Let's get right into it because that's the next episode, and this is how this episode ends. So we can rip right into it. Because that next, again, these episodes, insane. They are.
Yeah.
And this one here hasn't
anything back.
Right. Even if you have made a movie in the very late 90s, this show will make fun of you for it.
What?
Well, they did. Is this not the episode where Cyclops tells Cable, "What would you prefer, black leather?"
Right.
So good. We finally gotten back at that line.
Yeah.
in the intro, the title cards, Xavier is back in,
Yes.
and Storm is wearing her new outfit.
New and improved outfit.
It was a nice update. Oh, I think I saw somebody post that like some of the humans in one of the scenes of the intro, they're wearing the exact same clothes that were robot zombies. Like they were the same
they're Prime
people,
Sentinels, yeah.
which is crazy.
Oh, that's cool.
Right?
Yep, I dig that. Let's see, yeah, this show is damn near perfect, folks.
Storm and Forge rescue Jubilee being chased out of the mall security.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Right. Yep.
With Forge.
With Forge at her side. This is nice too, because it's like she's been gone and we didn't really get to. So what's all happened? Well, Xavier's back, and
where's Gambit?
And Genosha and everything else. Although she knew about Genosha.
Right.
Jubilee's reaction here to seeing Storm back with her powers, and like it's so good. It's so emotional, and you realize it reminded me of like Kitty Pryde, like that Jubilee is sort of that character where it's just like, you can tell that like it's such a comfort to her in this moment to see that Storm is back, right? Like in all ways, like in every sense of the word, like, and you feel that you realize like, yeah, Jubilee's the youngest member. Like this is such a relief to her in a lot of ways to have like, this like sister, mother figure, older sister figure back. Like, it's a good moment.
Yeah,
and I think well performed.
But then it's contrasted later on with who was it that calls out Storm, who's like, you weren't here when Storm was talking, or was that, I can't keep track. I watched all 3 episodes in a row, so I can't tell which one's which.
It's probably Rogue. But, Rogue has been
Rogue,
where they were like, you don't get to talk because you weren't here. So
right,
like a little bit of both kinds of reactions.
Right, and Cyclops and Jean kind of give Xavier the same speech.
Where he holds his hand out, and
he's like,
and then he goes, psych, get it?
Because nice, well played, Kevin. Were you holding on to that one?
No, I just thought of it. I'm so proud right now. You have no idea.
You should be. You should be. That was so good.
So stupid.
But I do like that Xavier's wearing, like, he's got the blanket and the old wheelchair.
Yeah, we see his hover chair all fucked up. Like, R.I.P. the hover chair.
It's over. And
Heather, you were one of the last to be able to reference it.
Right. And what's really funny is that, like, I feel like everyone's going back, like, because again, this is the episode where everyone goes back to their old costumes.
Yeah.
Oh,
junk.
But also, I'm like,
it's okay, Kevin. It's okay.
Gonna redo the outfit. But also I'm like, you can't go back to the like grandfatherly, like, oh sorry guys, I'm back now with my little plaid blanket. I'm just a little no, we can't do that. You have no sympathy.
She couldn't give him the suit to go.
Right? I was wondering that
right,
too.
Yeah. Maybe it's like a gravity thing. I don't know.
We're reaching now. We are reaching now. But I do love this scene where Cyclops just like, no, there's clearly a broken trust here. We're having none of it. And I think soon after this, it's Rogue waking up, Nightcrawler there. Again, props to this show. We've gotten more Rogue Nightcrawler family dynamic in this than we've had in the entire 60 years of comics.
Right.
Of X-Men comics.
Definitely.
Oh yeah, and she woke up. She remembered she threw the guy off the rooftop.
Yep.
Which I love it. I love it when they get a little mean. I love it when some people die. It's.
Well, he would have been killed. Died is murdered.
He was gonna jump anyway, so I
mean, he was ready to. You're right. He was absolutely ready to. I know we're talking about something that happened 2 episodes ago, but you're right. That's seeing that, like, that frustration, and it's just like, this is it. Like, man, I know I talked about that last time, but it was just, man, that scene is so good. It is like forever now burned in my head, because it's just, and everyone's different reaction to it, where you've got some where they're just like, yep, cool. Some people could have saved him, did nothing.
Yep.
Like Gene could have.
Yeah, it's always
Crawler
the discussion of like, oh, like what responsibility do I have as the person with the powers? Like, theoretically, like I should be saving this guy because I can, but I love it when someone goes, not this time, like toss him.
Right. Christopher's making a good point here too. I think a lot of us have that feeling of Magneto was right. That's myself included in a lot of these episodes.
Yep.
And that notion just plays into Bastion's manipulations. As much as it hurts, Xavier is right. You need to focus on destroying the Puppet Master. Not from the Fantastic Four, but the overall.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And and I get that, but man, there's been every episode so far, something has happened where I'm just like, damn, man, Magneto. I can't be mad.
Well, yeah. I mean, because there's a reason why they refer to Xavier's way as like the dream, right? It's like it is the ideal, right? But Magneto's viewpoint is like is the reality, right? Like it's
realistic.
Yeah. And here we go.
And when they were arguing about, like, when they were starting to get into that internal argument about, like, we need to still be saving people versus people who are like, at what point do we, think of ourselves instead of just the greater good or the most amount of people saved. I love conversations like that, because I'm like, like, at what point do you have to think for yourself as well, And Xavier has always been about, we have to be good, we have to, for all the people, for everyone. But I skew onto the side of Magneto, because I'm always like, it's not gonna happen. That's not realistic, Like, at what point is it like toss the human down?
Yeah, or like or the ones that just are just the pieces of shit. Like you have the power, like just they got to deal with it. Like I get that frustration. Like we've all seen it. Like it's
but as what was referenced, it's like it plays into that conflict begets more conflict begets more. It's like and Magneto even says it's like this endless loop. It's like this song we keep singing. Like at what point do we stop? And so this early on in this season, Magneto was trying to walk Xavier's path. But it's hard. It's hard to do. It's the constant fight, the constant struggle that makes the X-Men so compelling.
Yeah, Legion X is saying here too, like Magneto describing how Leech died in front of him was heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
I think I specifically mentioned Leech on one of the episodes we did when we talked about X-Men. I was like, Leech, I will die for you, and then he dies.
Yeah. Leech death confirmed.
Yeah, right. I need a count of who's gone and who's not. Like I need an official list. That's what. But no, hang on, go back to that, Kevin. I want to talk because everyone's back together because the Sunspot, Jubilee, Forge,
in Sunspot in the uniform. That's dope.
Right.
Yeah, right.
The New Mutants uniform.
Right. The New Mutants uniform. Love it. It's really cool seeing this many X-Men together. But he's not the only one with the costume change on here. Rogue is wearing her villain outfit. Her brother
and Gambit's coat,
jacket,
which is heartbreaking.
Right? Like it's that to
is
me
that canonically the name of the outfit, her villain outfit?
No, it's like
it's when she was with the Brotherhood. She was wearing that, right?
Yeah,
it's her costume when she first joins the X-Men as well, like for quite a while.
Which
it's kind of her. It's her classic outfit, basically.
Right, but it's
like foreshadowing her joining Magneto.
Correct. right? Even though I didn't see a divide about to happen, and we probably should have. Again, as I love all the surprises the show has given us, because it's like there's so much that is on point with the comics, but they change things just enough to have us just go, oh, well, that's cool.
Yeah.
And again, when they showed this costume, I was like, oh no, don't get rid of the bomber jacket. Don't do it. Don't do it.
The hood isn't as cool as the jacket.
The hood will never be as cool as the jacket. And this is too, like, not too, like, hang on, I'm trying to remember, what were they talking about here? Because Magneto shows up shortly after.
They have to. Everything's EMP'd, right? So they have to go to Muir Island because the Shi'ar technology should still be working, and this is where we get Cyclops going, all right, gold team.
Yeah.
Right.
Blue team and gold team.
That was super cool. I like that. Storm and Jean are going to go over here. The cool kids, drawn by Jim Lee, are going to go over here.
And it is almost like in the comics, because it's like Jean, Storm, and Forge on the gold team, and then blue team is Cyclops and Wolverine, and I guess that's it.
That's it.
Metal guy, go fight Magnet guy.
Yeah, right. I think they could have thought of that a little differently.
In hindsight, we know what's happening.
Yeah, we know what's about to happen as well. But
exactly.
That whole conversation though, like when Magneto comes crashing back in, and he's like, "What the hell, Chuck? What's your deal?"
Mm-hmm.
Right? And they kind of do their whole like back and forth. I could have watched an hour of those two going back and forth. And fighting.
Dude, the dialogue,
it
was beautiful.
Right? Because you understand both sides. Like you really like. You do get it, and you're just kind of like, oh man, and you feel that tension, and to feel like, to syndicated animation, and I know this is far above syndicated animation, like this is far above that, but like to even get this kind of like subtle acting and this dialogue, and to feel tension between characters in an animated series, man, kudos to this team.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a beautifully written show. Like the dialogue, the especially like a show where that's so many speeches, or it's like there's so many, like that so often goes awry, right? Like, but they're so well written, so eloquent and meaningful in this show that like it never tips over. I was very impressed that it like never tips over into like melodrama.
Right. It doesn't. Everything always still feels like super real. Like you can see actual people having these conversations, and this is where he kind of does his own version. Like, who are my X-Men? Who are my
X-Men?
Who's
X-Men?
coming with me?
Who wants to go home?
Who wants to go home
with me?
Guys, let's go.
And
go ahead.
It's Fatal Attractions, the comic storyline, where it's almost like verbatim, where he shows up because he's doing the Avalon thing. He's like, all right, all mutants, we're leaving Earth. This isn't working out. We just gotta
he brought back Asteroid M.
Planet. And he shows up to the X-Men. And he says, all right, who's coming with me, basically. And as it was pointed out by Dartherian, Rogue is essentially like Colossus. Like Colossus in the comics is dealing with like the death of Illyana and the legacy virus, and he is like completely lost faith in Xavier's dream and the X-Men's way. And so there's a sort of this shocking moment where like Magneto shows up and Colossus is like, yo, I'm going with you. And the X-Men like can't believe it, that, he's at that level. But so Rogue, who's kind of like, she's got the strength of Colossus. Like she's there's definitely connections to that character. She's like, she's lost someone, she's disillusioned and looking for another way.
She's hurting. And I think the biggest shock to me in this episode wasn't necessarily the Rogue going with Magneto. It was her taking off Gambit's jacket, folding it up and giving it to Xavier, which is another another kind of powerful moment where you're just like, oh, this is real. Like, this is like, she's done. She's over it. And it, you know, we all knew, like, I don't know. It wasn't a shock to me that she sided with Magneto. It was the folding up. It was the taking off of the jacket.
Well, but it's also to like remind Xavier. It's just be like, you own this. Like, how many of us have to die before you admit that like it's a hopeless situation?
Right. Yep. Exactly. And then Sunspot joining as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that hurts.
Again,
the new guy that you would hope to, you know,
to
convince. Yeah. Was it last one in, first one out?
Yeah. It was, yeah. And Jubilee kind of feels that of like, you sure you're doing this? He's like, this is bullshit. Like, look what we're.
And she burns up his business card.
Yeah, right.
So removed him from LinkedIn.
Right.
The
Unfollow. I'm done.
And everyone's like, wow, that was the 90s version of unfollowing someone.
Yeah. And I do like that he did it. Like, he kind of plays what Pyro did in the original movie as well.
Yeah.
In the first movie, he kind of plays that role of like, you're there, but I didn't. I was honestly, I didn't see him necessarily going with Magneto, and it was a really good twist.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
I was rewatching the 92 series, and I was watching the Sanctuary episodes where Magneto first creates Asteroid M, and funnily enough, Rogue is the one who was pissed that Gambit was thinking about going to go up there. And she was like, what are you doing? Like, you're leaving us? And he's like, no, I'm just going to go check it out. Was that too French? But
yeah, that was pretty much all. It was pretty
okay.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, I think he stays behind or something to spy on them, and she's like, I knew that guy was gonna, you know, like, I can't believe he turned around and like betrayed us. And then contrasting to this now, when the same asteroid comes back, she's the first one to be like, I'm going with these guys. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, that's a good catch.
And I almost thought that maybe she was pulling like a Gambit where it's like she's making a big show of leaving the X-Men, but it's really just to keep tabs on Magneto, like from the inside, you know, because she's like kind of so mean as she leaves. It's like, it felt like she was like trying to sell it to Magneto, but I guess it's how she really felt.
She let someone fall off a building. I feel like she's really mad.
Yeah,
she's done. But I don't know. I got a little bit of that sense. But
yeah.
And then they suit up in their old costumes because their costumes are, I believe, they just got destroyed and they're all tattered up.
We only have our childhood. It's like when you go back to your parents' house and you only have your like your childhood clothes or whatever you left there. You're like, well, I guess I'll have to wear this. Sorry, anyone I offended.
The Mirror Island Museum.
Man,
like if they added some pounds throughout the years, and like someone's shirt was just over their belly, like
If my parents kept all my like clothes from when I was a teenager, all those graphic tees, man, I'd be sitting on I'd be rich. Yeah. I would call my the old Batman shirts, my old X-Men shirts. Like I had like a Joe Mad Storm shirt that I would wear. Like I was like, come on,
awesome.
That thing's worth like $1 bajillion now. My Batman Forever shirts, $1 bajillion.
I was looking for a Batman Forever shirt today.
God, isn't it the best feeling?
You're gonna be looking for that forever.
I mean, I found some. I just don't want to pay that money for it.
Yeah, right. Like
they're
so expensive. It's bonkers. Anyways, yes. Sorry, going back to our old teenage uniforms. I like that Storm.
Green dress isn't doing for me.
Yeah, green dress. What do you feel about the brown for Wolverine?
I liked it.
I like it too. Yeah.
I have no problem with anyone else except Jean.
Except for Jean's. Interesting. Okay.
I was like, this is a big battle. It's really cool. And she's just in like some green dress.
Yeah, I am curious about that one. I guess you can't really do like the first costume. This is her second costume, is the green dress. And it goes, I guess it flows with the rest of this era that they're going with, because this is right.
It's also like, so in the previous series, she wears it during the Phoenix saga, like when they're doing the last fight on the dark side of the moon, like or the blue side of the moon, whatever, she's wearing that to sort of be like, oh, Cyclops, like I just was feeling like nostalgic for like a simpler time or our early days together doing this. So this and that was like kind of teasing her tragedy. The Phoenix in the comics ended tragically. In the cartoon it goes a different direction, but anyway, it's like kind of teasing that, and this is, I think, kind of referencing the same thing. It's like, here we are in our like kind of referencing where it started, because this is possibly where it's going to end. This is like our last mission.
Right. Okay, fine, I'll give her a pass.
I do want to pull up
the sentimental value.
Yeah. All right. Alex sold it. That's fine.
Yeah.
I do want to Bacon McShig. For some reason, this having a name Bacon McShig and then saying I had a Joe Quesada Ash shirt just tells me that's, of course you did. Your name's Bacon McShig. You would have an Ash shirt. I think that's awesome. Christopher Negri saying they could have given her that X Factor costume with what is it? The red one with the X.
Yeah.
Also had a big.
But then I feel like it would be weird if Cyclops didn't have his. That would be fun though. Like they had their X Factor suits here.
I do wonder if that version of Excalibur even existed in this world.
Definitely. Or of X Factor.
Of X Factor.
Definitely not, I would say.
Yeah, I got a
feeling that's just too weird.
It's too jumbled up at that point.
Yeah, it's too abstract.
Right. And I think this is also the scene where Cyclops says like, "Here, son, I brought you a new costume."
Yeah.
And this is his Marvel versus
the one
Capcom
guy who doesn't need a costume, like he's already wearing a costume.
Not only that, like a badass costume.
Yeah.
Right? Cable is so good. The guy that guy that voices Cable, he was the original voice of Gambit.
Yeah, Chris Potter.
He sounds like Josh Brolin a little, or am I just projecting? Because I just watched.
I hear it. During the panel, he could tell he was like a little upset he didn't get to play Gambit again in this. And so he kept going. He made a comment along the lines of, "I get to be the Gambit that lives. AJ could be the Gambit that dies."
Oh my god!
Like I was like, "Oh shit!"
Shade.
I was like, "Damn, okay."
He's so perfect as Cable, though. Like his Cable is great.
It's so
you don't even hear Gambit in the voice. It doesn't sound like him.
Nope.
Not even a tinge of it. Yeah, but it's cool you get the new Cable costume because that Marvel Legends is coming out.
Yeah.
Looking
forward to that
one.
I love this costume as well. Like I'm trying to think of a Cable costume I don't like. They're all pretty straps and pouches.
Yeah, the AVX one is a little weird. He just
AVX,
has like a brown kind of.
Yeah,
he goes like he gets like a cyborg half of his face at one point, and
that I don't mind so much. But you're right. It's that brown and green earth tone.
Yeah.
Like he's really cool when he has a lot of like shoulder pads and color.
Yeah.
Right.
No, this is a cool look.
This is cool. It kind of looks like his dad.
Yeah.
This one.
Don't tell that to him. He won't be happy.
Yeah, but this is where we get that really that shade from what would you prefer? Black leather. I love that they were able to took 20 years, but we actually got to take a shot back. Like it was just all his fans and the
cuts of them wearing their new X-Men costumes in the next season.
Right. Yeah. I'm curious what they're gonna do, if they're gonna stick with this or I guess we'll find next episode, man. It's gonna be the longest week of my life.
Yeah.
But during this
followed by the longest year.
Yeah. We were just saying how we'll get to that at the end. Yeah. But during this whole suit up montage, we also get a suit up montage from Bastion.
Oh.
Right? Because he's kind of charging up the Sentinels. They're all kind of leaving. They're all charging up and leaving the garage.
Yeah.
Morph's new costume too. I actually really dig it. With the blue,
yeah, it's
the
like
yellow.
it's like his Exiles look.
Can
Exiles.
we talk about Morph for a quick second?
Any second.
Since it came up, and I'm kind of on the scene right now, but we've seen him, morph into different mutants and use their powers, which we kind of didn't see before. And then today he morphs into the Hulk, and he has, would you say, like similar power levels?
He was smashing.
Yeah, he's hulking out.
He'd be smashing, right?
He'd be
So
smashing.
what's going on? Like, what are the limits? What are the limits to his mimicking ability? Can he only, use the powers of everybody to the same levels?
Well, he
that
was doing
seems to be the case.
Right.
Yeah. Like Ryan, you said that you think it's that he can only do it for a little bit. It's like
again, that's me reaching.
No,
like,
but that makes sense because otherwise it's like way
there has
too
to be
OP.
a downside. Yeah, it has to be.
I think one of the things I struggle with a lot with the powers in X-Men is like the limitations for the powers are sometimes very vague, and like they can't do strong stuff like every day, but like if there's a world level threat, let me bring up my big power one time for the one, but then I have to go back to my normal power. It's like this is a little bit, I was going to talk about this at the end of the episode where Magneto and Xavier, so maybe I'll save it for then, but I was like, I don't know, what are the limits of these powers? He just seemed like it did nothing to him. I feel like it should have done more damage.
Right, because at what point do you not just if you're fighting that dude, why wouldn't you like use the speed of Quicksilver, then quickly transform into the Hulk?
Yeah.
And you
I think it must just take a lot out of him. Because we have seen him, like he went from like Psylocke to Colossus to Lady Deathstrike, so he does kind of like he has like morphed while
ability.
fighting.
Does have combos, yeah.
If they showed him like getting gassed, or like getting tired, running out of breath somewhere along the way, be like, okay, so it does take a lot out of him. So, it's not like Alex said, it's completely OP, because why not just turn him into Magneto and reverse everything instead of going to find Magneto? Why not turn him into Bastion or, any of these things? So to avoid that kind of like that plot gap, make it limited, make it so he only does a fraction. I can only limit to half their power or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, well, that might be the case.
Yeah.
Isn't it like, do you guys remember 2 weeks ago when we were talking about like Captain America helping them out? And I specifically was like, it's like, well, like the X-Men wouldn't really work if like they could just enlist the Hulk to help them out, like, anytime.
And also here it is.
Yeah. Well, that's why I feel like that's why they have to keep them kind of separate, because you open like a whole can of worms if you start making everyone available.
I'm all about this.
Yeah, turn them into combo.
Have him turn into combo, man.
I love those ads. Here's another thing with him turning into the Hulk as well. Like the whole thing with the Hulk is that the madder he gets, the stronger he gets. So like, I don't think Morph would be able to like fully Hulk out. Like, I mean, the Hulk is still going to be strong, but he can't like get like crazy, ridiculous strong, because he can't be maybe angry enough because he doesn't have that kill switch. Right. And again, I'm reaching, but I did love it. I think where was it? Legion X is saying Gene used power to enhance him. I love that too.
Check the comment right below that one.
I think DeMaio said he can duplicate physical mimicry, like wings to fly, super speed, etc. Okay.
Oh, that makes sense, because it's like if like Quicksilver's muscles are like capable of achieving super speed, like that would make, he's like literally, but still, it's he's. I mean, the whole morphing thing anyway is like crazy. It's like you're the amount of like knowledge, anatomical knowledge, like chemical knowledge you would have to like recreate perfectly like all of these components. Like, I mean, how does Mystique make clothes? She like morphs clothes. It doesn't make any sense. It's all good. It's all
can
fine.
Morph have a baby?
Can Morph have a baby?
All right, I think we've gone too. I think I might have taken it too far.
Did you?
Well, I
did you
mean,
guys
like,
read?
yeah,
Well,
okay.
did you guys read the X Factor investigations where like Siren sleeps with multiple man, but then it turns out that she slept with one of his dupes, one of his duplicates, and so she's pregnant with a duplicate's baby. And I won't say any more than that, but like,
That's
you know,
wild.
read that book. It's interesting.
Hook it up with a duplicate. I had a whole other vision come to head, and we're not gonna go near it at all.
She's stealing Cyclops' moves.
Yeah. she wasn't this. She was throwing things around. Like, this is okay because they're fighting Sinister here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sinister shows up, and they're just like, "Well, you know what? It's time to kick your ass."
Jean's weapon of choice, a bowling alley.
Oh, that was a cool fight.
That was so cool. Okay, but that was awesome with the bowling balls. Like, that was freaking rad. Yeah, I dug that too.
So good.
That was the whole visual of it looked good because it looked like an old like 60s bowling alley.
Yeah,
it was like an abandoned town, pretty much.
Right. Well, I think even the cars outside. Hang on. I think I got this thing open too. I could probably.
How about when Beast took that Sentinel arm with the hand at the end? It's like, what's the sound of one hand clapping? And I was doing this.
Sometimes the jokes. Gosh, when this might have been a couple episodes ago, but when Emma Frost gets dug out from under the rubble and she says something about like, I do well under pressure or something because she's like a diamond. I was like, no, please stop.
They're comics. They're comics.
That's like being like, will I be able to play the violin? It's like, I don't see why not. It's funny, I couldn't before.
Yeah. Right. So we get this fight.
What did the 5 fingers say to the face?
That would have been better.
That would
have been that.
Yeah. That would have been so good. Quoting Rick James. That would have been sweet. That was good. Hang on. That's okay, because we're going back and forth between the gold team and blue strike team, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So we keep going back to going from there, and then it goes to Asteroid M.
I'm just trying to find a picture of
They're getting their Pride of the X-Men on.
Oh, that's Sentinel throne?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a bunch of Sentinel heads and a hand on top that he sits on.
You know, it's kind of petty of Magneto to.
I think it's great, and I hope the Marvel Legends team makes that.
Yeah.
Just make the throne.
There you go. So while that Bastion fight is happening, this is happening on Asteroid M.
Magneto's creating sculptures while everyone else is fighting.
Yeah, he's. Hey man,
he's having a little art project.
He's like, has anyone seen a hand laying around? I need a hand to sit on.
I love Xavier's outfit here too. I think we see this early on in the animated series when he's in the Savage Land.
Yeah,
I think that's the same one. But yeah, you're right. This Sentinel, this Sentinel throne needs to be the next HasLab. It needs to be the stretch goal with the kitchen playset.
They've already got the tooling done. Just use the Sentinel heads and just and the hand, just make a thing.
And also this shot here, very Pride of the X-Men.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
It's very, very pridey on this one. And then I guess from here, fights break out. We get Jubilee versus Sunspot. We got it earlier than expected, Alex. We knew they were going to fight each other.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah.
Right? Predict that he would, because we kind of thought the fall of the mutants was going to happen. That they were going to fake that he would have thought Jubilee was dead. And then he was going to start hooking up with Boom Boom. And then she comes back.
It could happen.
It still, it could happen. In X-Men, that stuff can happen. But we get the fight now, and awesome. It's great. Sunspot always, to me, I thought he was like one of the coolest looking mutants.
Yeah.
right, with the silhouette and the Kirby crackle.
Right.
He's just always looked super, super cool. So it's great to finally see him just be like, fuck it, I now use my powers.
Mm.
And then Magneto gets in on it too, and he goes, Charles, I've always wanted to tell you these 2 words. Shut up.
It's such a good line delivery too. Just
Well, we talked about how beautiful their
Ah.
speeches were earlier, right? And they were going back and forth at outside the mansion on the lake. And he's like, I've always wanted to say these 2 words to you. I don't know if anyone else was trying to. I'm like, what is he going to say?
Suck it! To Degeneration X-Men. Bow! That would have
been terrible.
Okay. Right. Yes, it would have been terrible. But this was cool.
Yeah, so then he's forced to use like communicate with the team psychically, telepathically. Yes. There you go.
There we go. Right. And we go from that, and then we go back to the gold team. They're going through their own shit now with like Sentinels and Bastion.
And Sinister is still in the mix.
Sinister
Morph comes in as Sinister, and then Bastion's like, he would never care about me.
That was dope.
I like how everyone's like, Sinister, we all know you're a coward, right? Like, because I think even Jean is like, what are you still doing here, you cow? Like,
we thought you left already. Like, you don't have to be here anymore. We know.
Yeah. Oh, actually, the episode before that too. I even like how he's like, how Bastion even tells like, oh, you're one of those old school villains. You're not thinking new school enough. And he's like, well, you used to be one. Used to be. Right?
Does he say I evolved or something?
Yeah, I evolved.
Yeah.
You're all go ahead.
No, I was gonna be like, there was the classroom earlier in the episode where it was like the man turning that chart you get where it's like Homo sapien turning into humans or whatever.
Evolutionary,
evolution of Bastion.
Yeah.
All these foreshadowings, I'm seeing it, guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Right.
Ooh, twist. Big twist.
Right. I forgot about this too.
Yeah. That's why I stopped it there. They end up in a showdown. What is it? When Sinister is fighting with Jean, he has like the ace up his sleeve, which is Cable
which we should have seen coming, right?
Yeah, it's his virus.
Yeah.
Right? He infected him with. He had him since he was a baby.
Yep.
Right. Yep. It's all according to plan.
So it's a legacy of viruses.
It's a long time.
Oh, very good, Ryan.
Very good. I did my homework.
I like how Sinister was like, hey, I can tell you when I started switching you and Madeline out. Like he was trying to tempt her or like to get her to give up. I thought that was funny. I know something you want to know.
We all know it's when she stopped wearing the ponytail. It's obvious.
Yeah. They made that very clear. Right. And then of course we go back to the Blue Strike, the Pride of the X-Men team.
Dude, she's cast reaches out to Cyclops on the asteroid.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And then she cuts out, and you're like, no, is she dead?
This guy just keep taking hit after hit.
Yeah.
Jean. That's a cool shot.
God, it's so good.
You knew when they held hands before going on the mission, then you see the slow motion of the hands. You knew it wasn't going well.
Yep. That is such a cool shot. And then and it kind of cuts from this to Magneto pretty much kicking everybody's ass.
Yeah.
Right?
Because they're surrounded by metal.
They're surrounded by metal. Who knocks off his helmet? Because he's like, I gotta get that helmet off.
Yeah. Xavier tells people to knock Magneto's helmet off so he can control him to reverse everything, right?
Right.
It takes a lot for Xavier to be like to take over somebody against their will and use their powers without.
And that's what he was doing when there was all that lightning. He was trying to get him to reverse it. I couldn't really tell. Like, I was like, is he
Maybe.
frying his brain? Is he trying to
Yeah,
like,
right.
like what?
I think the idea was that he was going to use Magneto's powers or he's going to use Magneto's brain to use his powers to reverse turn the power back on to the world.
Right.
Yeah. Right. And that's a big like no for Xavier as well.
Yeah,
so
it's
we're
a
now
huge line
Right.
cross for him.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Well,
now
I
we
think
know
he was
how-
like Magneto crossed that line, and he's going to keep doing it. He already, set off the global EMP, and he's just going to keep this war going. So I think
Yeah.
he's at a point where, like, they've been pushing him. At what point? How many of us have to die before you take action?
Well,
So he's like, all right, this is it.
And they say too, like the world is like fucked. Like the world is in a state, like a dystopian state or a post-apocalyptic state that we usually see in the X-Men future timelines. Like it's there now, right?
Mhm.
Like it is.
What did they
Like,
say? They were
what
like, you put us 100 years into the past or something like that when he set off his powers.
Yeah,
Right.
just think of all the ways that would affect our modern world, to just have all the power turned off everywhere, like all the people on life support that were killed. Like it's just this Magneto, like Magneto has crossed a line that he has not crossed before. So Xavier is prompted to do the same,
Yeah. Unless you live on a farm and are self-sufficient, you're effed, because it screws up all the cars and stuff too. So nobody's getting deliveries. There's no food.
Amazon, I guess, guys.
Amazon
Jubilee,
again.
you're not getting that yet.
Yeah.
Jubilee's-
I can't even get my groceries off Amazon. Like, what the hell? Right? Like, so yeah, it would mess up everything pretty bad. And
nothing's being refrigerated, everything's going bad.
The ice cream's melting.
I mean, we can't survive if the bees die. Like, think about like what a delicate ecosystem we live in.
That is true. The is it Cyclops that knocks off the helmet? I'm trying to like remember.
The Wolverine ends up he jumps on Magneto,
right?
And when he throws him off, he takes the helmet with him.
Right, and the helmet gets banged up pretty good.
As Rogue realizes Wolverine is playing for keeps, she very quickly is like, "Oh, you're trying to kill someone here."
Yeah, Wolverine stabs. I thought that was cool, right? He stabbed him through, and you saw blood on the claws.
On the claws.
Like, yeah, I'm like, we never saw that on.
We never got to see him stab anybody.
Yeah,
like period, right? So he's always cutting open walls to make new doors.
Didn't it show like the wound opening too around the claws?
Yes. Yep. It's like
it was very graphic.
It was super amazing. And it was that what was it? There was the onslaught hint where Magneto takes the helmet and puts it on Charles and starts squeezing him.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. I was gonna be here's where I'm like the power limitations. I'm like, his head should just pop like a grape. Like, there's no way Magneto could not just crush his head instantly. So, like, what is the limitations? Like, he's not trying very hard, clearly.
Well, he doesn't want to kill him. So
yeah,
he doesn't want to murder him. But I thought it was cool because it's like he's putting the helmet onto Xavier so that Xavier can't control his mind. Right.
He
can't control. He can't use his powers on anyone. Like it's a very cool. It's a very clever thing where it's just like, oh yeah, the helmet works to keep an individual from Xavier, but if you just put it on the source, Xavier can't use his powers anywhere. So that was a cool,
he just squeezes it on enough so he can't take it off.
Right.
Yeah.
And like you said, Ryan, too, it's sort of like it's also kind of like forcing. It's like Magneto literally like putting his like head onto Xavier's shoulders. It's like you're going to like see things my way for a minute here. Like you're not going to influence me anymore.
God, this shows.
this next part is like it's so rough just thinking about it.
It's rough, iconic, but I have one beef with it. And it's I wish it was more animated. I wish we actually got
it was just a still.
It was just a still where it kind of just floats there, but I really wanted to see it
I wonder if it was a budgeting issue or if they were like, it's too graphic for us to actually draw all the metal coming out of his body.
That's a good.
He's already pretty bloody, and it's coming out of him.
But you can see, like, in the drawing, it's not actually that graphic. I know there's blood, but theoretically, if they just leach out of his body, he should be in shreds. Like, I know he has healing factor, but, you know, I feel like they've already toned it down.
I feel like we might see it next episode, because, like, the episode just ends here, right? So, like, I feel like the next episode might begin with us seeing, like, what this is almost just like
oh
a
my
tease
god,
of
dude,
it.
you're giving me chills. If it opens the next episode where he's just screaming and it's just liquid adamantium coming out of it, just because, like, this was just a still shot.
Because I mean, they're animators. How can they resist doing that?
You're right. Yep,
it's true.
You're right, and it will be that's an effects task too, if it's going to be like the liquid, right? So they're going to have an absolute blast. I love it, and I do, because the whole thing with Wolverine having bone claws, it's the X-Men equivalent to the Spider-Man Clone Saga, where people felt it went a little too long.
Yeah.
Like, right? A lot of readers were like, when is he getting the adamantium back? When is he getting the adamantium back? So I got a feeling too, they won't wait too long for him to get the adamantium back. But at the same time, I hope they go a whole season without it.
Oh god.
Yeah. Well, because it's more than just like,
it's 13 episodes.
He's like, this is the closest Wolverine ever gets to, like, death's door. So it's like in the comics, like, they describe, like, his healing factor is like it's overworked. Like, he has, like, blown out his healing factor, and so he's really messed up. And it's sort of like he's kind of like devolving. They describe it like it's undoing all of the work that he's done to try to, like, build, like, this sort of humanity and, like, you know, nobility and, like, honor, and he's just, like, becoming this, like, feral animal again. Which that, you know, seeing Wolverine contend with that over the course of a season is, I think, could be really interesting.
Yeah, I think so too. I know this sounds like a weird bias coming from me, because everyone knows I really like Wolverine, but I would not be upset if they just gave Wolverine a 5-episode spinoff.
Yeah, sure.
Of him dealing with this shit. Right? I wanted to, because now that we're getting near the end too, there was I just wanted, like, because next week is the last episode. Right? Like, where are we going? Like, does anyone have any, like, kind of predictions of what, outside of, like, Bone Claw's Wolverine, which is going to be a thing? Like, what else? Like, we got Bastion we got to deal with, and we've got Magneto we got to deal with.
Well, is Magneto dead? Because, like, Wolverine did stab him. Like, this to me, I felt was like, this is like Magneto's like dying act, right? I mean, although he seems like pretty alive in this picture, but, like, I mean, that scene, like, Wolverine seemed to know that he had, like, he got him fatally with that wound. So Magneto might be dead at the beginning of next episode.
Maybe it's because of all the Shogun I've been watching and all the seppuku, but I was like, Wolverine should have just slashed across. You know, he should have went in and then just really sever everything in there. But
yeah,
again,
I'm a big believer of, like, you got to double tap. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like some of these guys don't make it permanent enough. People keep coming back. You got to make sure you've done the job.
Yeah,
right.
Dice them up.
It's you kind of think about it in the, like, what was it, Infinity War? You should have aimed for the head.
For the head.
Yeah.
What's the line from, like, Miller's Crossing? Like, I always tell my boys, make sure you put one in the head.
Right. And I feel like that's going to be what saves Magneto in this, and why he won't necessarily die.
Well, I wonder if he'll, like,
Rogue can save him too. Sorry, yeah. Rogue.
Well,
could Rogue save him?
Well, all she has to do is touch Wolverine, right? No, that's not how it works. He can't.
Yeah, she can't transfer.
He's gonna be. I moved the iron in my blood.
Yeah, like, I'm trying to think.
I just controlled it so it kept flowing in the same cycle.
Yeah, like no, that's not how that works. You can't transfer that. I'm making up new powers as I go. Yeah, I'm trying to think because I don't. Maybe this is it. I mean, this show's not afraid to kill off characters.
Nope.
I mean, also Magneto. It's like, where do you go from here? Like, this is like, obviously. So that when this happened in the comics, where they went after this was like Magneto is basically like comatose because Xavier like wiped his brain essentially after this, which I don't know. It seemed like he kind of did that when he like took over his mind just before this happened, but like maybe that's where maybe Xavier's now going to like, I don't know, wipe Magneto's mind or something after this, like in Fatal Attraction, and then Magneto's basically like in a vegetative state, and then for a while, and then Asteroid M blows up and Magneto disappears, and then Joseph shows up, this guy who looks just like Magneto, who has no memory or anything like that, and they're like, oh, the X-Men are like, oh, you're Magneto, but you just don't remember who you are, and he joins the X-Men, and it's sort of like Magneto without all of the things that make him Magneto.
I don't know about the morality of that. That feels a little gross to me. Like, I get that Magneto's supposed to be the evil guy, but like, regardless of what side you're on, taking someone, like, you're taking advantage of someone because they have no memories that you did to them.
You're not wrong.
That's fair.
Yeah, no, I can't quite remember how they handle it. I mean, obviously, like Joseph ends up not being Magneto, but like, I don't know, it gets confusing, and Xavier does like pay the price for wiping his mind because he becomes Onslaught, which I feel like they'll definitely go there at some point in this show.
I think that's
I do too. Yeah, just because of even with the Doctor Doom cameo, and he even says he's against genocide. So there's that.
Good for you, Doctor.
It's good for you, Doctor Doom. But Doctor Doom, the reason why Doctor Doom teams up with all the heroes in Onslaught as well is he makes a comment saying, I don't want to rule a world of ash.
Yeah.
Right? So I could see like great way to bring him in. I would love to see like Captain America finally getting his shit together, all that kind of stuff. Right? I would love to see Onslaught done on a big scale. Like that would be.
Don't we need like a Franklin Richards too? In that
that'd be interesting.
And X-Man.
Yes. But you gotta do Age of Apocalypse first, right?
Who? So maybe
it's just young Cable from a different timeline. Maybe
there's been early on when we were in our reviews, there was a lot of folks in the chat that would say, "I really hope we get a season of Age of Apocalypse."
Yeah, I had a similar feeling,
and I think you had similar. Yeah, so I could see if I would not be mad if they did one season of Age of Apocalypse. However, I would be absolutely pissed if they did, because I did not buy those Marvel Legends, and I know what this show is.
Oh, dang!
I know where my bin is.
Yeah,
you snooze, you lose.
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your bin is?
Right.
Right. Like it's.
So I could see them doing their own, because like the things are so bad right now. Things are so bleak in their world right now. They basically, like, next season could be them just living in like an Age of Apocalypse level thing. Like if Apocalypse, who we have not seen this season, like other than the intro, like if he decides like this is a good opportunity for Apocalypse to like do his thing, do his survival of the fittest thing and take over, like that could be like the home when the X-Men go home after the end of this season. Like it could be Apocalypse is like taking over, and it's like it's like the Avengers and like the Earth's superheroes are like trying to deal with Apocalypse, and it's sort of the things that we saw in One Man's Worth, where it's like, this like, the world is in ruin, and they're trying to like pick up the pieces, and they're trying to rebel against this new threat that kind of, everyone is affected by.
You guys think they're gonna
also-
solve this by the end of the episode? Like Bastion's gonna be defeated, or do you think it'll end on?
Yeah, no, they gotta tie that up.
They have to tie up Bastion, but I have a gut feeling they're gonna open a door to the second season. Like
it's gonna be like a end credits scene of.
I have another crazy idea. I have another crazy theory of what could happen. This won't happen because there's not enough time. But what if Jean Grey, who we think has been killed, what if she becomes Phoenix again? Like, what if it like activates Phoenix in her, and so she like defeats Bastion because like all the other X-Men are defeated. It's like it's kind of over. She defeats Bastion as Phoenix, but because she's become the Phoenix again, the Shi'ar are like, oh shit, Phoenix is back. Like, what are you doing on Earth? Like, I know we were staying out of this, but we can't have your Earth conflicts lead to Phoenix coming back, because then that means the whole universe could be destroyed. So then the Shi'ar occupy Earth, and they're like they've taken over the planet, and like season 2 is like everyone living under like Shi'ar rule.
Deathbird, more Deathbird.
Yeah, right.
I mean, the state of the Earth is pretty shitty that they need like a whole universe reset level story, right? Because like, are you gonna bring it back to normal, or are they just gonna be in like the Dark Ages forever? So something
they got to struggle a little bit at least.
You know, to quote Winston Churchill, when you're going through hell, keep going.
Yeah, but the mutants have to save the day. Forward. Yeah, whatever it happens, mutants have to be the one that saves the day.
Of course.
Yeah.
Fuck, man, I can't believe it. Yeah, but the pacing for the season has gone through so many like plot points that it'll probably wrap up next episode and set up for season 2, and it's just more retail therapy from now till then.
Yeah.
Jubilee style.
Kevin, have you felt that itch of because Geek Dad Life was bringing this up? Have you been feeling that itch to go buy Toy Biz figures?
I have. I was just saying in the chat, I have some of the Age of Apocalypse Toy Biz figures. I have seen some at Toronto Comic Con that you mentioned, like those figures for like $5. I should have bought some then, but I only had a backpack with me that day. But no, I'm purging. I'm in the process of purging. So, no Toy Biz, as cool as that would be, because I'd want them to be on the card, and then it's that whole like, oh, it's on the card, I can't open it now, so now I gotta go buy another one or go find a loose one, and it just doubles up. So I should stop myself now. I don't even want to talk about it. It's just gonna tempt me.
All right, okay, never mind.
To somebody else.
All right.
You could Power of X-Men Dayspring did like his top 20 Toy Biz X-Men figures, and it's like all like the later 90s stuff. So it's like the Light Wars or the Light Effects ones, Water Wars, like all when they're really getting into those like Joe Mad sculpts and stuff. And like, man, it is so tempting. I don't think you'll be able to like hold on to your resolve if you watch that video, because you're just like, man, those figures were so cool. Like, yeah.
Oh no,
just amazing.
It's all right. It's okay. It's okay. All right, we are past our 1 hour by an hour. Yep,
classic
as per usual.
us.
Classic.
Episodes.
30 minutes to get into the episode. So honestly, like, who was surprised, right?
Not me. I wasn't surprised at all. So with that, we're going to start shutting her down. I want to quickly do everybody's plugs here. First off, we've got Kevin, who's been joining us for all of these, which has been totally awesome. You can find him on Toying Around. That's his channel name and the whole bit. Boba Squadrons on Mondays, Unboxing Thursdays. You, sir, have a very special guest tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks to you guys letting me hang out here. I was on the episode when AJ came on, and I noticed because he was not just like into the X-Men stuff, but also a bit of a collector, a toy guy too. So I thought it'd be cool. So he's going to come on tomorrow. He's going to be opening up some figures, hopefully some X-Men stuff, and just chatting and see his reaction to some of those toys and anything that we can talk about that's non-spoilery. Yeah, tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern.
You should have waited one more week, and then the show.
I know,
right?
I know. Can you imagine? Like he comes back, like Gambit is alive the week after, and I'm like, wasted opportunity. That suck. That'd be so funny.
No, it's not going to happen. You're fine. You are totally. Next up, we're gonna give a quick plug for Alice. Alice has just given me shit last week about like, can we not do this beginning of the show? So I'm just gonna do it for her.
Shy.
It's but okay. Yes, I got comment. You. There's a link at the bottom as well at the description. This is All Haven Academy. This is on webtoons.com. Alice, 1.5 million views on the page. Amazing.
Awesome.
We're doing the mid-season break, so all the episodes will be out. There's no we have the fast pass, but all the episodes will be out for the next few weeks. So if you want to catch up on it, you can, and then I'll be back in a few weeks with regular updates. So
there it is. 24 episodes in, and which is crazy because when you came on this show for the first time, we were at episode 1.
Yeah.
Right?
Time flies. Can you believe this?
Jeez, it's so good. So when you're wondering why, when you have the questions on the certain weeks, and you're like, hey, where's Alice? This is where Alice is.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
This is amazing.
Super, super cool.
Yeah, I love it. So, and it's the way it reads too. Folks, I'm just going to say, use your tablet, use your phone. This is what this is meant for. Kevin, I know you love your entertainment on your phone. If you're like that, then this is for you. It was meant for this platform. So I want everyone to.
It's good on the bus to work and things like that because it's just really handy on your phone. That's where I read a lot of my webcomics.
There you go. That's for all of you that need to travel or just place to be and all the other kind of cool stuff. Alex, you're up next. I know we talked about your big announcement. You did. We got some real Ghostbusters coming, but that's not today's news.
Yeah. So at Mondo, so if you're watching this and you're a Superman fan, Mondo, we put out the Superman the movie soundtrack. So the Christopher Reeve Superman movie soundtrack by John Williams. So that record is up on our site now. It comes with the Superman 78 comic with there's an amazing cover by Joe Quinones and Paulo Rivera, which the two of them teaming up, that's just amazing. So this is it. And it's super cool looking. And I don't know if you can click, it's the 4th thumbnail in, you can see their cover that they did. It's that. You can kind of
scrolling my computer.
But yeah, so this it's an awesome set, and I mean that's one of the most iconic movie themes of all time. The John Williams Superman score, so good. So even though we're excited for a new Superman coming, you can still appreciate the old. But yeah, it's a super cool set. Yeah,
I was just playing that theme for my kids the other day.
It's great. Yeah, it's somewhere between Star Wars and superheroes. It's somewhere between Star Wars and Mighty Mouse, right?
Nice.
It never fails. I sing Indiana Jones, and it always ends up being going into Superman theme. I'm like,
yeah.
Of course.
And then the ET ride.
Yeah.
We also on Mondo we just put out the Sky Sled for Motu, which is super cool. If you had the original toy, that sort of sticker of the dragon on the side, the heraldry is now a bas relief sculpt, and there's so many cool little details and stuff, and it's super awesome.
this gives me hope for more vehicles. Like maybe Wolverine's bike. Oh, we didn't talk about Wolverine's bike.
Yeah.
Hang on. So we
It's never gonna happen.
I know, but I do want to do a shout out
do it.
We gotta.
Wolverine's god dang bike. They had a garage at some point, and where the Blackbird is and all this, like all the older stuff.
Yeah.
And they have the old Toy Biz toy of Wolverine's motorbike in there. I Leo'd it right away. I was like, oh, I know that.
But they didn't give it his like face. His
we only saw the toy profile. We only saw
I guess that's true. But like, the toy had like his face was on the front of the bike, but it was his like unmasked face. Like,
it was just like
the weirdest. Weirdest design decision.
Decided that.
So it's just like Wolverine's head, his own head with like his hair mounted on the front of his bike.
Yeah, it is super weird. I gotta find that.
We should definitely make that. Like if we did that 1/6 scale, would you guys buy it?
We'd
Wolverine bike with the claws
with the moving
from
parts?
the show. Yeah, moving parts, of course.
Does it have interchangeable heads so it has different expressions?
Yeah, of course.
I didn't know about it until I saw Dan Larson's. He posted a clip on his IG stories today.
I saw that too, and it's so because he messaged me, or no, I think I messaged him first, and I was like, I popped when I saw it, and he was like, he's like, computer zoom in, and like, yep, there it is. Right,
it kind of looks like Rodimus Prime.
The color scheme,
and the like piping and the yellow
like the claws
spoil.
go like this when it moves, and then it opens up, and his face is in the middle.
What other vehicles do we have here?
So I like the fact that Xavier's chairs are like part of the car collection. Like he counts it as part of the car.
Yeah,
right.
What's the blue one from? When was he rocking that blue chair?
I don't know.
Yeah. Right?
Is that
like
boat?
The Batcave.
A boat?
Well, it looks like a Jetsons car or a boat.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And I feel like the red convertible is from something that we should know.
Yeah. And there's the Rolls Royce.
Yeah. There's a motorcycle
I like
on the left.
But where's Cyclops' convertible?
His new one?
Yeah.
Tell Cyclops he just got a convertible.
I do like that we get to see both versions of the Blackbird here too.
Very cool.
There's very neat. This show, they just give us the gifts.
It just keeps on giving. All right, we're going to end it here. You can find me on Toy Anxiety on Tuesday nights, and I'll be back here next week. I might do another show. I might do a show on my convention pickups on Friday on Toy Anxiety. I might. Do you guys want to see my other 2 prints that I got at the convention?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. One I actually bought for Alice. This is going on her stash. Jeff Spokes was there. He's like one of my favorite artists. So I got.
Oh
wow!
Yo, big screen yourself.
Oh, good call.
Yes.
I should be. Whoop. Right.
Dang.
That's
so
pretty
cool.
He's so good. And then in typical Doell fashion, but it's in tune with this show.
It's a waifu.
Yep, it is a waifu. I totally got the Power Girl cover that he did.
Oh yeah.
It's so good. He's like the nicest dude too. He was just chatted for a while. Awesome. They were all awesome. It was Calgary Expo was great. It was so much fun. It's huge.
Nice. Looks like a good lineup.
They did have a pretty good lineup. All right. Okay. That's it. That is it. We're going to end it here, folks. All right, everyone. Thank you. Have a good night. We will see you next week. Season finale. It's going to be a big one.
Yeah. Crazy.